Welcome back to USF 2000 AI League Season 4, Race 15, and we are here at the Glen in New York. It's New England's motorsport playground. We're currently watching qualifying as Chris is the first car out on track. Probably a good decision in terms of championship, as Chris is one of your championship contenders. At this point. There's still a lot of season left to go. But it's better to keep it consistently well than get good at the end. Everyone already making their rounds. As Chris is going to come out right into traffic, right behind Wine Silly Man. That's going to slow down Chris. That lap's not going to be too great. As whoa, the 46 gets into the grass a little. As Chris finally goes by, but this lap will probably not be a good one. Our configuration of Watkins Glen that we are using today includes the boot. So they go down the chute and then they go into the toe. A pretty big lock up there. That's going to be a problem area in the race. I've seen multiple cars go off there in previous seasons. So I wouldn't be surprised if another incident like that happens this season. The 15 is on a good lap right now. So is the 77. Interested to see where everyone will land, as several cars coming around. Chris gonna be finishing up first place with a time of 1:52.8, but that will probably not stick. But that is the time to beat. Spencer Alfredo way ahead of that. Well, actually gonna be about even, but it's a 1:51.7 actually, so still up by about a second. 15 of Eliza Doe coming around the final turn on a good lap right now. And we'll go first of a 1:51.4. Ruggiero Espinel on a good lap. Teammate Diogo Sebastio right behind goes second. Sebastio also on a good one. Will now move into second. Watkins Glen has been on the UAL schedule since Season 1, and it has provided two very close finishes. So we'll see if that will happen again today. But right now we're just trying to get through qualifying as we're already 7 minutes in. Currently 1:51.4 is the time to beat the 84 of Chad Brodsky. Had a pink, but also had a yellow, which most definitely slowed him down. The 46 of Wine Silly Man, who has been on a hot streak recently in this series. Has a pink in the second sector. We're going to have to see what kind of times will be put down. It's going to be close. Chris moves into third as Wine Silly Man goes first. Really having a good middle part of the season. I think has 3 top 5s in a row. I may not be correct, but that's pretty good. As Tetsu moves into fourth, about a 10th off of the pole time set by Wine Silly Man. As the 14 of the Sun has a good lap going, but yellow in the last sector, it's gonna put the Sun 16th. But that actually looked like a good lap. Missing Sock is actually on a good lap, and he has been having a really bad stretch in his season. So would really like to put down a good fast time. It's gonna be a pole of a 150.7. Missing Sock on top by 6 tenths over Wine Silly Man, and the 20 of May Borowski has a pink in the final sector, but still is about 6 tenths off, but now moves into second. The 83 of Gus Fring has a pink in the third sector. Karishima goes 9th. Let's see where this 83 goes. Chad Broski goes 8th. Gus Fring, it's not going to be pole. It is only going to be second, off by about 3 tenths. Spring Roll has not set a time, and it's currently last, but will get another lap. Only 155.8, that is not good. The Missing Sock currently on pole, just where he would like to be. This will be his final lap. So let's see if anyone can improve. Phil Slow is struggling in qualifying right now, but will not improve. He'll stay 22nd. Not very good, especially from one of your championship contenders. But last week's winner, John Panini, has a pink in the third sector. How will he do here? It's not going to be pole. It's only going to be good enough for 12th. Not exactly what he would like to see. Beijing Beef, one of your championship contenders, could try to beat his own time, but it's probably not going to be pole. It's going to be an improvement to 8th, though, so just inside the top 10, which is better than where he was earlier. As Karishima shoots up into third with a 151 free, and the 16 of David Bialois has a pink in the first sector, but may have been slowed down by the car in front. It's not going to be pole. It is only going to be a move up to 17th. As Spring Roll shoots up to 16th on his final lap, but that is still not very great. Could Tetsu improve? One of the last cars to get another lap. Where will the 9 go? Or will he just stay in his place? It's not going to be pole, and it's not going to be an improvement. So qualifying is complete. Missing Sock will get another pole. Missing Sock got the pole at Iowa, but crashed out, hoping for a better race this time. So here is your starting lineup. Missing Sock on pole with a time of 150.775. Closest car was Gus Fring, about 3 tenths back. He'll start in second. Row 2, is Karishima and May Borowski, and then row 3, Wine Silly Man and Eliza Doe. Row 4 is Diogo Sebastio and Tetsu Tetsu, and then row 5 is Beijing Beef and Chris Chris. Row 6 is Chad Broski and OxyClean, and then row 7 we have uh, John Panini, last week's winner at Mid Ohio, and Ruggiero Espinel. Still, everyone as of now that has been shown under a second of the pole. As row 8, both of them are still under 1 second. Spencer Alfredo in championship leader spring roll, who has not been doing too hot on qualifying recently. Row 9 are your first ones outside of a second. That is Vafaver and David Bialois. And then row 10 is Saul Goodman and Max Cold. Row 11, Sussus Amogus and the Sun. And then row 12 is Phil Slow starting way back in 23rd, and Jacques Croissant. And then rounding out the field is Mahavir Raghunathan. So let's take a look at your race info. It's pretty cloudy here, but very warm, 82 degrees. Uh, Track temp is 114 degrees. We are using the boot configuration, which makes the track length about 3.36 miles. Uh, Decently windy day, 8 miles per hour winds. Watkins Glen, previous winners. Brennan Hubbard, who returns in the Father and the Son, who are 17th and 22nd. Moo Milk won season 2. Both season 1 and season 2 were within 2/10 of first place, so very, very close finishes. And then season 3 was Jack Daniels, who basically returns as Gus Fring, who is starting second, and Saul Goodman, who is starting 19th. Take a look at your point standings coming into this race. Spring Roll still up by about 22 points, but right now did not really have too great of a qualifying, so gonna have to dig his way out. And then Chris in second, Beijing Beef is in third, fourth Phil Slow starting deep in the field, fifth is Tetsu Tetsu, sixth is Gus Fring, seventh Saul Goodman, eighth Max Cold, ninth Chad Broski, 10th John Panini, who won last week's race and moved up 4 spots in points. Wine Silly Man is in 11th, Diogo Sebastio 12th, OxyClean 13th, Karishima 14th, Spencer Alfredo 15th, Eliza Doe 16th, David Bialois in 17th, and then the Father in 18th. As now we move down a little bit farther. 19th, May Borowski, 20th, Sussus Amogus, 21st, Jack Croissant, 22nd, Missing Sock, who is your pole sitter today, 23rd, Ruggiero Espinel, 24th, The Sun, and then Mahavir Raghunathan in last place as usual. And then your team standing, Spring Speed up by about 8 points over Vasily Snorters, so it's going to be a pretty close battle there. Los Polos Hermanos in third. Then it's the Flat Earthers and Magenta Saucies tied for fourth. And then Team YouTube, BFL Racing, The Graveyard, La Vitesse, The Laundry Boys, Ruodom, Sebastio Racing Foot, Team RAS, The Italian Mob, and Raghunathan Racing. So now we wait, and apparently it seems like we're going to be doing a full pace lap around Watkins Glen, so it's going to be a pretty long pace lap. My pick to win, if I had to pick one, I'd say Gus Fring. Odds are in his favor. I think all he needs is a good lunge around the outside, and he'll probably take the lead. It would be Gus Fring's third win this season, won 2 other races at Road Atlanta, and I'm kind of blanking on the other one right now. As now we're on the back half of the circuit. It's still a very long pace lap. We've been going around for about 3 minutes. But now we are about ready to get going. I think this race, high chances of getting a close finish if you get a good exit out of the final turn. You could get a good draft down the straightaway and pull up alongside the car in front, but you would need to nail that last turn. But it is possible. Turn 1 is a downhill, there's a lot of runoff. So if you do go wide, you do have some room before you hit the wall, but you gotta move over fast, and you have to move over cautiously as to not hit another car. Through the second to last turn. Pace car will pull off, as here we go. Green flag is out here at Watkins Glen. Missing sock already. A good start. The 83 drops back a little bit, and the 4 is going to be on the inside, but is going to fight back around the outside to stay ahead. But now it's actually side by side with the 4 again as they go up through the S's. A sweeping uphill that can be done flat out. Now we go down to the bus stop. We see Eliza Doe trying to make a move on the 20 of May Borowski. As now they go into the bus stop for the first time. The 20 moves into third. And into the podium places May Borowski. Now into third. Gus Spring, however, is chasing down the 42 of Missing Sock. Gonna try to peek around the outside. And left the door open as here comes the 20. Trying to take second spot, gonna be on the outside in the next turn, but has almost cleared the 83, but the 20 is just staying side by side. And it's gonna be almost, it looked like it was gonna be 3 wide for the lead, but no, Missing Sock is just a little bit ahead as the 20 still fighting very strongly, and now may accidentally drop down to 4th. Which is not preferred. As May Borowski now down back into 4th. But that was a pretty good battle for position. But now we have to turn our attention back to the front. The 83 could have tried to make a lunge. The 42 goes wide, and the 83 sticks it up the inside to take the lead. As the 0 in the back gets way sideways. Lost 2 spots at the start and almost lost it in turn 1. It's pretty close going down. And the 42 and the 4 may have made some contact there. But they figure it out. They're still second and third, no positions swapped. The 18 chasing down Eliza Doe back here before Karishima chasing down Missing Sock. We got some battles all over. They're all still bunched up. Missing sock about 1.2, about a second back from the 83 of Gus Fring, who has also kind of been having a rough patch of races and would really like to get a good result today. He is almost broke away from the rest of the field. Missing sock goes out to take a defensive line, but here comes the 15 of Eliza Doe down the inside of the 4, and the 4 just lets the 15 go by to take third place, as now Eliza Doe trying to look to the inside of Missing Sock will not happen, as it seems like David by Lois has had an off. Let's see if we can find what happened. Oh. Oh, got squeezed into the wall, or no, just slid up the track and into the wall. As now we look back to live. Diogo Sebastian now in the 5th. May Borowski fell down to 6th. As Eliza Doe's teammate is now out of it. So gonna have to try to get a good result to get some good team points. Gonna be fighting with the 4 here. It's gonna be pretty close. As here comes the 18 of Diogo Sebastian. Up the middle. And gets by the 15. It looks like the 20 gets by the 15 too. Pretty easily. So Eliza Doe. Actually, no, they're still battling for position, but Eliza Doe just dropped back on the straight. Had a good had a bad exit out of the toe. Gus Fring up by about 3 seconds. Kirishima trying to look for a first win. Missing Sock gonna be trying to look for a first win this season. Gus Fring sets a fastest lap of a 1:52.1. See if they go down towards the bus stop once again. Biggest mover so far, Spring Roll and Sussus Amogus are both up 5 spots. Spring Roll actually is now ahead of Chris, which is pretty good for the championship. You see Spring Roll in 11th, Chris just back there in 13th. In between the two is OxyClean. Up by about 4 seconds now is Gus Spring, so Missing Sock kind of slowing down this group. There's the sectors here. Gus Fring setting fast laps of 1:51.6. As here comes the 18 of Diogo Sebastian trying to go down the inside as we have a car in the wall. It is John Panini in the wall, just like David Vallalois. Let's see if it was the same exact kind of incident. Oh yeah, just the nick of the wall. And Eliza Doe has gotten by Diogo Sebastian. Kirishima now trying to battle Missing Sock. Gus Fring now up by about 6 seconds and has successfully pulled away while this group has been held up by the 42 of Missing Sock. Keeps taking defensive lines and nobody has been able to get around yet. As here comes the 4 of Kirishima, goes a little wide, but's gonna try and hold their ground. There's the position that could work as now the 4 gets ahead and moves into second as Missing Sock now drops back to third, so a pass into the heel. And Kirishima now could try to get Gus Fring, who's up by about 6 seconds now. The group up at the front still kind of close together as there's lap traffic in front of the 4. Gonna have to try to get around the 16 of David Bialois, who is 3 laps down. And this could most definitely hurt the 4. Gotta have to take a look as the 18 tries to take a look at Eliza Doe for 4th place. Will not happen though, as the 4 gets ahead. 6.3 seconds is the gap between first and second. Missing Sock still getting chased by Eliza Doe. Here we go into turn 1. The 42 trying to go down early and stays ahead. As here we go down towards the bus stop, the 15 could get slowed down by their teammate. As here we go, Missing Sock hops the curb a little. The 15 gets slowed down a bit by their teammate. 16 of David Bilos as the 42 and the 18 side by side through the carousel. But Diogo Sebastião stays ahead. Missing Sock now drops back into 5th. As the 18 now goes around the 16 of David Bialois. .42 of Missing Sock. Now just back behind the 18 of Diogo Sebastião. Gonna try to be looking for 4th place now. Down the front straightaway, the 18 takes the defensive line. Maborowski sets the fastest lap with a 151.6. Back in 8th right now. So now we're already about halfway through this race. And we gotta be thinking what could happen next. Especially we're gonna be thinking about pit stop soon. Missing Sock just stays ahead of Wine Silly Man, who's now gonna be side by side with Tetsu Tetsu, who's now side by side with the 20 of May Borowski, who's gonna be on the outside going down the chute. Kind of an awkward turn. Don't really know where to get a good spot. Here goes the 9, gonna try and move around the outside, but May Borowski now moves into 7th as now Tetsu Tetsu falls back to 8th. Gus Fring now sets the fastest lap of a 150.8, but Karishima now takes that with a 150.7, as it's starting to look a little bit more cloudy at certain ends of the track. John Panini, who was first last week, is now last this week, which isn't that fun. At the back, in camera shot, you see the 0 and the 2 were battling for position. That's definitely, it's only 1 point, however, cutting into Spring Roll's lead in the championship, so Chris is going to have to do a little bit more than that to work for the championship. So that only cuts it down to a 21-point lead, which is still a lot. As the 18 of Diogo Sebastio has a pretty big lockup. As V18 trying to defend, kind of not really looking too fast, about 4 seconds off the car in front, which is Eliza Doe, you see just out of frame. And it seems like the 99 of Beijing Beef has a problem. Backwards, what happened here? Oh! What? Oh, it was just wheel to wheel and flipped over. That was a pretty big flip and not in the place where I would have expected it to be. Goes over the 87. And that is definitely not going to help his championship, as now he is basically out of this race. So the 4 cuts down the 83's lead to about 5.5 seconds, but that's not really doing enough to be able to take the lead at least anytime soon. So gonna need to work a little bit more, maybe hopefully can get a good pit stop while the 83 gets a bad pit stop. That would definitely help. First battle under half a second now is Tetsu Tetsu chasing May Borowski for 7th place. We are now on lap 11. So the team championship's going to look a little interesting after this now that Chris is, Beijing Beef is out of it, and Spring Roll is currently behind Chris. So Spring Roll definitely going to need to get by the zero now. In terms of driver championship, this isn't the worst result. It's only just 1 point loss. I mean, 1 point can still be the difference between the championship, but it's not going to do much right now. So gonna have to try to get around here. Looking. Gonna be going around the outside now to the inside, and Spring Roll just goes by. Tetsu was also over to overtake the 20 of May Borowski for 7th place going into the bus stop. Missing Sock has closed a little bit to the 18 of Diogo Sebastião. Could try to make an overtake soon. Still about 5 tenths back, so if he gets a good run into the bus stop, then it could be possible. Not going to be close enough. Could try later once they get to the heel, but it's not the best passing opportunity. But once again, it could be done. We saw it earlier when Karishima went by. Missing Sock for second. Karishima has fallen a little bit back from Gus Fring now. It's not really the closest race ever, but there are races that we've had this season where the gap was a lot larger. One I can think of is Road America. That one was a pretty dominant one from Phil Slow, who's currently in 18th in this race. Biggest mover right now, Sussus Mogus up 9 spots since the start, up in 12th, started 21st. Been having a pretty good race today. Still hoping to get some more results. Missing Sock still behind Diogo Sebastião. The 42 could have tried taking a look. Wine Silly Man gonna be hoping for another top 5. Currently in a good position to do so right now. Just would need to get by the 42, and preferably soon as we get closer to pit stops. Wine Silly Man gets a little close to Missing Sock. Wine Silly Man has finished second at Iowa to Missing Sock's teammate OxyClean a couple of races back. They're gonna try to get around the 42 here. So here comes Wine Silly Man, gonna try to make a move on the front stretch, I would assume. Gonna have to see if it's possible. I'd definitely say it's possible unless Missing Sock takes a very defensive line, which he goes over to try and do, but Wine Silly Man can try to outbreak the 42, go around the outside. Not gonna do that, gonna try. They looked to do the crossover and go to the inside. Still couldn't make the move. But now the 46 could pull alongside once they get to the bus stop. As this is also one of the better passing opportunities at this track. Ooh, almost runs into the 42. That got a little close. But Missing Sock still holds on to 5th place as Wine Silly Man still knocking on the door. And it seems like Sussus Amogus, who was having a good day, has gone backwards. What happened here? Coming down the chute. Did he get turned? Oh, makes contact with the 87. Sends the 87 hard into the wall. Oh, that is a bad impact. Let's see this again. Oh, that's a really nasty hit. The 87 goes up and over as we have had 2 flips here. Just wheel to wheel. Both of them involved OxyClean, as now OxyClean is out of the race. Kirishima sets the fastest lap with a 150.3, but now Missing Sock definitely gonna have to try to put it down, as OxyClean that was a really bad hit on his side and slid right into the wall head first. And then after that, his car just got tossed in the air like it was a Hot Wheel. So now we look back to just inside the top 10. We have the 2 championship leaders. May Borowski is also here in 9th. As now the 2 of Spring Roll tried making a move in the carousel, but now they're gonna fight, and David Bialois is frankly just in the way. Kind of want that 16 to get out of the way because this is a championship battle and not really something the 16 should be involved in, but oh well. Gus Fring has now came into pit road. Kirishima just behind. We'll see if any cars decide to stay out. I'd assume at least 1 or 2 would attempt. No, it looks like they're all coming in. Anyone gonna... Actually, no. Well, the 99 is behind anyways. The 83 pulls off with an 8.9 second pit stop. Kirishima an 8.4 just behind, but looked to be a little bit slower coming out of pit road. Seems like Spencer Alfredo actually decided to stay out a little bit. So Kirishima didn't really lose anything, but didn't really gain anything. The 83's got the 16 of David Bialois. Right behind Bialois. Probably not need to pit until like at least near the end. That car also is behind. So the 4 did lose some time to the 83, but now the 16 gonna try and be in the way of the 83 now. And this could definitely give Kirishima a chance to catch up. That's kind of interesting. As we look back, Wine Silly Man and Missing Sock are battling into the heel. Here comes Wine Silly Man around the outside, fresh tires and all, and gets the pass complete. Spencer Alfredo now pulls into pit road. Kirishima's got about 7 seconds now. The 42 of Missing Sock basically in 6th now. Is dropping back a little. They're gonna need to fight a little bit harder to stay ahead. Spencer Alfredo is actually leaving the pits now and looks like he's going to gain some spots out of that, maybe. Yeah, we'll actually gain some spots out of that, so staying out longer was definitely the better option, as now Spencer Alfredo is in 12th. So, fastest pit stop, let's see who got it. A lot of 8 seconds, a 7.4 from Chad Broski. But 7.2 from Phil Slow appears to be the best one. Slowest one was a 13.7 from Sussus Amogus. About 3 laps to go now as we come to 2 to go. Missing Sock now has to deal with Chad Broski behind him instead of Tetsu, who falls down to 8th. And now we could see a potential pass going down into turn 1 as the 84 just needs to draft. Gonna be alongside him going down the front straightaway. But not gonna beat him into turn 1. Missing Sock has been very defensive today, and it's worked out for him most of the time as he sits in 6th. Down 5 spots since the start. As now here we go into the bus stop. A big lockup as here comes Tetsu around Chad Broski to take 7th place. As now Tetsu is now the car behind Missing Sock. As Wine Silly Man has caught up to Diogo Sebastio for 4th place. The 46 has been on fire the last couple weeks, and it is continuing. Hoping to get another good result today. currently knocking on the door of 4th. As now the white flag is out. Gus Fring up by about 6 seconds on Kirishima, as Kirishima set the fastest lap of a 150.2 on the second to last lap. So here comes Wine, Silly Man. Could try to make a move. Not gonna be done. Gonna have to wait for the bus stop to get another chance. Not gonna be able to get it done. So let's turn our focus up to the front. We have the 83 of Gus Fring. A very solid day. He was my prediction to win. He just needs to wheel it around 4 more turns, and then he'll be home free. Would tie the most wins this season with 3, and it would definitely help him towards the championship, as he has had a rough last couple weeks. So I was really hoping to get a good race today. 5.5 seconds up on Kirishima, who you saw come into frame last second. Coming around the final turn, a very solid day from Gus Fring, as he will come home to take the checkered here at Watkins Glen. Kirishima will come home second. They gave it their all. And then it is a very far back third place, which is Eliza Doe coming out of the final turn now to round out the podium and get their best result of the season. And then Diogo Sebastio just held off Wine Silly Man for 4th place. So a very solid day from Gus Fring. Was very rewarding in the end, as he finishes first. Yeah, has 2 other wins. I remember one at Road Atlanta, and I'm trying to remember when the other one was. Oh yes, it was at Phillip Island in one of the closest series finishes. This race didn't hold up to the first 2 seasons' close finishes, but it was still a very exciting race throughout the rest of the field. So waiting on a couple more cars to come across the finish line. Who are we waiting on? We are waiting on Beijing Beef and OxyClean. Yeah, 2 cars ended up upside down. Beijing Beef and OxyClean. Beijing Beef just finished. Uh, OxyClean was involved in both of them. Flipped a car upside down, then he flipped himself. As now Gus Fring pulls into pit road. As now let's take a look at your final results as everyone's finished now. Gus Fring wins by about 5.5 seconds over Kirishima, who gave it their all. Still a pretty good day for him. Eliza Doe, best finish of the season, will finish third. Diogo Sebastio back on to the top 5 in 4th. Wine Silly Man continues his streak of top 5. and will finish 5th. Missing Sock back into a better form, finishes 6th. Chad Broski 7th. Tetsu Tetsu 8th. Chris will gain 2 points on Spring Roll in the championship after this race, cut it down to a 20-point gap. Mary Borowski will finish just outside the top 10 in 11th. Espinel will finish 12th. Spencer Alfredo's pit strategy boosts him up to 13th. Max Cold 14th, 15th, Phil Slow 16th. LaFaver 17th, Saul Goodman 18th is Jack Croissant, and then uh, a little bit farther down, 19th is the Sun, 20th Sussus Amogus, who had a pretty good day today until the accident. 21st Mahavir Raghunathan, 22nd Beijing Beef, 23rd David Bialois, 24th OxyClean, and then rounding out the field, John Panini goes first to last. Biggest mover of today was Phil Slow, who finished 15th. So that's about it from Watkins Glen, as now we turn to the next race in our championship. And I believe, if I can remember, it is at Kentucky. So back on the oval, 1.5 miler. I hope to see you all there. Bye bye.